I think the Lions forgot to bring their offensive line with them to Green Bay. Let's talk Lions football.
Elbow, forearm, he's going to be down.
The result of the play is a touchdown.
And the flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
Only do that if you're telling the official you're reporting.
The Lions hangover.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am Brad. You are watching the Lions Hangover Podcast, or you're listening to the Lions Hangover Podcast. That's right. I am on YouTube. And of course, you can find me anywhere you get your podcasts. So you have options to experience everything that is the Lions Hangover Podcast. Lions today, wow, traveled to Green Bay and they sucked. They lost by a score of 27-13 as they traveled up to Wisconsin. Let's see here. I got some notes. Before we get into that, let's not forget you can find me on all social medias, X, Instagram, and Facebook. And you guys are already here watching me on YouTube or listening to me on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or even Amazon Music. We got it all. So how was the game, kids? What do you think? Not a whole lot to be impressed about. The Lions were flat pretty much the entire game, specifically the first half of the game. Their pass defense really sucked. Not too many bright spots on that pass defense. I did think their run defense was pretty good for the most part of the game. I think they kind of lost their steam, their mojo in the second half. So Josh Jacobs was able to get some yards in the second half of the game as the Packers eventually pulled away with it. I thought the offensive play calling was a bit rough. Nothing too much to be excited about, but it really doesn't matter because the offensive line was pretty much absolute garbage. Jahmyr Gibbs couldn't get anything going. David Montgomery seemed to have the better day, and they kept forcing Gibbs a little bit, which I understand and I appreciate, but you have to go with who the hot legs are. And today the hot legs were definitely David Montgomery. I thought Laporta had a good day. I thought St. Brown had a good day when they found them. There was one specific drive early in the second half where they just kept feeding Laporta the ball and he just kept catching it, man. The guy was pretty amazing. I thought he had a great day. Like, there were some bright spots to take away from today, and Laporta was definitely one of them. However, on that drive, it's like he got them down into the red zone and then they just went away from him, and I don't think that was the right thing to do. I think he earned a touchdown, so I definitely would have been looking for him in the end zone. Laporta was able to distance himself between himself and Quay Walker. You can tell they switched up coverage. Quay Walker didn't really cover him much in the fourth quarter. Where was St. Brown in the second half? I feel like they didn't really get to him again until late in the fourth quarter when it was already too late. The defense was a little bit better in the second half, but still not great. The pass defense, Brian Branch had an awesome almost interception, but there were two penalties, one on Hutch and one on Yasin. The Yasin one was the one that counted. I was saying Hutch, that penalty was legit, not legit. I thought his block was legit, but apparently you can't touch a quarterback if he's away from the play. My defense on that is Hutchinson doesn't know where Brian Branch was on the field. Like, he was just trying to throw a block. So I don't think that should... I understand why it's a penalty, but I don't think that particular play should have been a penalty. And plus, it was just a push. It's not like he was really being dirty. What went right, though? When Goff had time to throw the ball, I thought Goff played well. But when it really mattered, Goff was not good under pressure. A lot of his passes were short. This has been a problem. This is one of my biggest pet peeves with Goff. He always seems to throw the ball a little bit short. He threw it short on that interception in the first half. I don't think Goff had a bad day, but he didn't have a great day either. We definitely needed him to step up a little bit more. There didn't seem to be a sense of urgency from him. That's for sure. The route running of Laporta was fantastic. Like I said, he was able to, get some distance between him and Quay Walker, and that really was huge. Pretty much, Laporta caught everything today, so that was pretty amazing. I thought St. Brown, he had an amazing catch in that first half as well. I got these notes now. I'm trying to form a template here so I can have some consistency. What went wrong? The pass defense. The pass defense was garbage all day. Terrion Arnold got burnt so many times. That led to that first touchdown. Apparently, Terrion Arnold had like a groin injury, though, that he suffered, and I feel like they pulled him out too late. You know, if he was stiff in the crotch, they should have pulled him out sooner. He was a liability out there. Not that Yasin was much better, but still... It was rough. It was a rough outing for Terrion, and we definitely were expecting a little bit more from him at the start of this season. So hopefully his groin is okay, and hopefully he can bounce back next week against the Bears. Who played well on offense? Well, I've already kind of touched on it a little bit. I thought Montgomery had a great day. He was running with enthusiasm. He was running with power. He was the only one out there that seemed like he was trying to make something happen for most of the day when he was getting the ball. It looked like he just had that energy that carried over from last season. I feel like that energy was missing from most of the offense today and defense. That offensive line, they really need to get it together. I know that the middle of the offensive line, both guards and Glasgow, like, you know, you expect a little bit more from Glasgow, but, you know, Mahogany and Ratledge, like, they just all day. And Micah Parsons didn't play much, but when he was on the field, he definitely had an impact. He did get his first sack against Jared Goff. Jared Goff was sacked like 4 or 5 times today. We'll get to stats in a little bit. That was very, very frustrating to see. I expected more from our offensive line. I thought Mahogany played horrible, and he had a great, few games last season to give us hope. Ratledge, again, mediocre to subpar. Glasgow, mediocre to subpar. I didn't see a whole lot of Decker and Sewell getting beat, but I'm sure it happened out there. I don't think any one player on the offensive line played great, but we'll know more about that when the PFF grades come out tomorrow. Defense, not a whole lot of people played great on defense. Where was Hutch today? You were expecting a little bit more pressure. They couldn't get any pressure on Jordan Love, I don't think. They finally started to break through a little bit in the second half, but it was too little too late, and they still didn't get a sack on him. Excuse me about that. They still couldn't get a sack. I don't remember them hitting him too much. He was pressured very little. It seemed like, especially in that first half, he had all day to throw. And the one bright spot on defense, though, was the run defense. Josh Jacobs, he didn't get many yards at all today, especially in that first half. I think he was held to less than 20 yards in the first half. I'm also not a fan of the clock management at the end of the first half. I would have liked to have seen more aggressiveness with the timeouts. I would have liked to have seen more aggressiveness with the play calling. Just overall, I don't think a great game. The kickoff return, that's got to be addressed. You got to get Khalif Raymond on the kickoff returns too. I thought Raymond did a good job on the punt returns, but with the kick returns, you got to get him involved too. You can't have God, I'm missing their names right now, but was it Simon is one of them? We'll get to the names in a second here. But we finally did get a touchdown. Isaac Tesla, he was the man. He scored at the very end of the game on this play right here.
Here they bring it. They go to the end zone. Wow. Was that caught?
That's caught.
Hold on, we need to have a second look at that.
I think that's
Tesla, the rookie who pulled it down.
All right, so let's go over the scoring summary right now. Tucker Kraft started things off with a 15-yard pass from Jordan Love. That made it 7-0 Green Bay. Next, Brandon McManus hit a 34-yard field goal with 2:54 remaining in the first quarter. That made it 10-0. Finally, in the second quarter, Jake Bates hits a 30-yard field goal. That was a 16-play drive for 78 yards. They took 9:31 off the clock. That was nice. They could finally see, I think that was the one where Laporta was kind of dominating it, and then they had to settle for a field goal. But that made it 10-3. Next, it's 17-3 after a touchdown from Jaden Reed, 17-yard pass from Jordan Love. That drive was only 2 plays for 65 yards. Defense needs to do a little bit better than that. Jake Bates makes it a little bit closer. He puts it back to a 11-point lead for the Packers because he kicks a 27-yard field goal after a 9-play, 59-yard drive, taking 5 minutes, 20 seconds off of the clock. Next, Josh Jacobs continues his touchdown streak for the Packers with a 3-yard touchdown rush. That makes it 24-6 in favor of the Packers. And then another field goal by Brandon McManus. That makes it 27-6 with 2:15 left in the... Oh, that can't be. Yeah, no. It was a 2... Yeah, with 4:22 left in the fourth quarter. I'm sorry, I was misreading the numbers here. And then with 55 seconds left was the Isaac Tesla 13-yard pass from Jared Goff. 13-play drive, 65 yards, taking 3 minutes, 27 seconds. So that's how we get to the final score of 27-13 in favor of the Packers. That was the final score. I do have to talk about Isaac Tesla. I feel like in the preseason and now in this game, especially how this game got out of hand so fast, you're looking for a spark, you're looking for motivation, momentum, anything that can turn the tide. I think Isaac Tesla would have been that spark plug for the Lions offense. I would have gotten him involved early in the second half. What did you have to lose? I like Khalif Raymond, but I think Tesla is more, and I'm going to say it, he's more electric, okay? And I don't necessarily mean that as a pun, even though it works here, but the dude is excited to be here. He catches everything. This is just based off of, what we saw in preseason, and obviously he proved it here today with that grab. His first NFL catch was a touchdown, and it was an amazing touchdown. You could not have asked for a better first catch in the NFL. So he really pulled through on that. We have to get him the ball more. He should be wide receiver number 3, and I feel like they treated him like wide receiver number 5 today. I saw Tesla out on the field a couple times. It was, I'm going to say, a great throw by Goff. Because if it was any lower, it would have been picked off by that defender. I don't know who that was, but Green Bay was in position to pick it off. And Tesla made a hell of a catch. That's one of the best catches I've ever seen in the NFL. So Tesla's got some skill. He's got some athleticism. He's the rookie. I don't want to get too excited yet, but at the same time, from what we've seen, he needs to be more involved right away. So hopefully we see more of him in the first half against the Bears next week. I do want to say this is the first game. Are we going to panic? The answer should be no. It's just one game, okay? And they didn't look motivated at all. They looked extremely flat. There were lots of mistakes. Is it the play calling? Sure. Is it the coaching? Maybe. I thought Kelvin Shepard did okay, but the execution of the secondary was not great. Not great at all. But it's early in the season. There is no reason to panic. There's no need to panic, but you're allowed to be angry at what you saw because we know what this team is. They can do better. We want them to do better. So they've got a lot to clean up. So, all right, let's get to some player stats now. We will start with the bad guys first. Jordan Love went 16 of 22 for 188 yards with 2 touchdowns. He finished with a quarterback rating of 128.6. Josh Jacobs finished with 19 carries for 66 yards with a touchdown, with a 15-yard run being his longest. Romeo Doubs, he had 2 catches for 68 yards. Jaden Reed had 3 catches for 45 yards. Dante Vian, Dantavian. Yeah, I know I'm going to mess that up. Wicks, 2 catches for 30 yards. Tucker Kraft, 2 catches for 16 yards. And Matthew Golden, 2 catches for 16 yards. I'm not going to do all of them because Jordan Love threw it to like 15 guys today. So we don't need all of their stats. So we will do the top 5 tacklers on defense. Adrian Cooper, he had 12 total tackles, 8 solo. Javon Bullard had 9 tackles, 7 solo. Quay Walker had 9 crazy ass Quay Walker. He had Quasi Walker, 9 catches, 6 solo. Rashawn Gary, 7 tackles, 3 solo. And Keyshawn Nixon, 6 tackles, 5 solo. Let's get those sacks. Rashawn Gary had a sack and a half. Lucas Van Ness had half a sack. Devontae Wyatt had a sack. Micah Parsons had a sack. So a total of 4 sacks. Evan Williams was the one with the interception for the Packers. And Brandon McManus went 2 for 2 with a long of 38. He also kicked 3 extra points. Their punter, Daniel Whelan. I was jealous because even Jack Fox did not have a good game today. I don't feel like Daniel Whelan had a long punt of 65 yards. Out of 3 punts, 2 of those were inside of the 20. So let's get to the Lions stats today. Nothing too exciting. Jared Goff went 31 of 39 for 225 yards, touchdown and an interception, sacked 4 times with a quarterback rating of 88.6. That is very... I don't want to say mediocre. That's a little bit above average. You wish that interception wasn't there, and it completely was underthrown. But, I mean, he was accurate, 31 of 39. David Montgomery carried the ball 11 times for 25 yards for an average of 2.3. Jahmyr Gibbs ran the ball 9 times for 19 yards. His longest was 14 yards. Sam Laporta had 6 catches for 79 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4 catches for 45 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 10 catches for 31 yards. I'm not against Jahmyr Gibbs being involved in the pass game, but I would have preferred J-Mo get some, Tesla get some, St. Brown get more. Like I would have, you're moving a little bit more down the field. I think when you're throwing the ball to your wide receivers, where Jahmyr Gibbs, when you're throwing to a running back, it's more of a dump off. Even Montgomery had 4 catches today. Isaac Tesla, though, that 1 catch, very first catch for that touchdown. Detroit's top 5 tacklers. Jack Campbell had 9 tackles, 5 solo. Derek Barnes, 6 tackles, 4 solo. Terrion Arnold, 6 tackles, 3 solo. DJ Reed, who I thought did not have a great game either for his Detroit debut. He had 5 tackles, 4 solo. And Brian Branch had 5 tackles, 4 solo. I did think Anzalone had a great game, but he was also kind of quiet as well. Anzalone finished with 4 tackles, 2 solos, so it's hard to say. The kickers, Grant Stewart and Jacob Sailors. Again, I'm not a fan. There was nothing. They just kind of ran it straight up the middle. It didn't look like they were looking for holes or anything in the block coverage, so I just feel like they've got some work to do on their return team. Khalif Raymond, though, 2 punt returns for 19 yards. That's an average of 9.5. Jake Bates went 2 for 2, with his longest being 30 yards, and he was 1 for 1 with an extra point. Jack Fox had 3 punts for an average of 47.3 yards. But that Daniel Whelan, he had 3 punts for an average of 54 yards. I know Fox had that 1 punt that was actually pretty good, and then the Packers on a penalty made him kick it over again, and then it was only like a 30-yard punt. It was pretty sad. Let's wrap up with some team stats. So the Lions had 16 first downs. The Packers had 14. The Lions ran 65 total plays of offense. The Packers only had 47 total plays of offense. Their defense should not have been tired. They should have been ready to go, man. The Lions were 5 for 15 on 3rd down. The Packers were 4 of 10. The Lions were 3 of 4 on 4th down, and the Packers were 1 for 1. Let's see. Where was the red zone? The Lions were 1 for 4 in the red zone, while the Packers were 3 for 5. I don't think the refs were horrible today. However, the Lions were penalized 7 times for 40 yards. The Packers were penalized 4 times for 40 yards. Time of possession, I really feel like the Lions dominated, and they did. They had the ball 35 minutes. The Packers only had the ball for 24 minutes. Hey, there were 77,000 people at Lambeau Field today. I thought the Lions had a good showing of fans out there. Not going to lie, there was a good representation of Lions out there. Next week, the Lions play the Bears. Bears play Minnesota tomorrow, so we're going to have one more day than they're going to have of rest. Lions have lots of work to do, lots of practice. So, hopefully Ben Johnson and the Bears lay a stinker for tomorrow. Ford Field's going to be rocking. I have no doubt that Dan Campbell's going to be able to turn it around, and the coaching staff and the players. I think they're going to feed off of the fans' energy, and they're going to turn this thing around. I remember last season, it seemed like it took 3 or 4 games for the offense to finally click. And, that might be the case this year. We were able to escape last year with some victories, though. So hopefully, even if we start slow next week, we will be able to pull out a victory. So that's it for me. Look for me on the pregame show. Don't forget, the pregame shows are going to be audio only on Spotify or wherever you find your podcast. I am literally everywhere. And then the postgame show will be on YouTube as well. So we have that to look forward to this season. It's good to be back. It's too bad we don't have a victory to celebrate. Other than that, hey, you guys stay strong. It'll be okay. Today just sucks. It's not a bad season. It was a bad game, and we just started. Lots of football left. We will see the Packers again on Thanksgiving, and we will win. All right. That's it for me. Have a good one, guys.